Okay, this is big news. I told you yesterday that today we would have new polling that was done at least partially after Donald Trump tested positive for coronavirus. We have our first such poll, and the bottom appears to have completely dropped out for Donald Trump. In a new CNN poll, Joe Biden is leading Donald Trump by 16 points, 57 to 41. Among likely voters, some of the recent big lead polls have been registered voter polls. Likely voter polls this close to the election considered more accurate. And indeed, this is the worst poll for Trump of the entire campaign. Now, to be as cautious as we can, okay, this poll has a margin of error of 3.6. This means that the results could be as close as an 8.8 point lead. If you account for the largest margin of error in the most favorable way possible to Trump, imagine that Joe Biden's 57 is really only 53.4. Imagine that Trump's 41 is really 44.6. That gives us a margin minimum of 8.8. And that is basically where the national average now is. If you look at the national average of recent polls, Joe Biden leads by an average of 9.2 points. Now, as a brief reminder, before I get into all of my caveats and we've got to vote, rant, prepare yourselves for that. If we look back at 2016 on this day, October 6th, on October 6th, 2016, Hillary Clinton's lead over Donald Trump was 4.1. OK, so today, Joe Biden's lead over Trump is 124% larger than Hillary's was on this day in 2016. Now, think back to yesterday. If we looked at October 5th this year versus October 5th 4 years ago, Joe Biden's lead yesterday was 107% bigger than Hillary's on that day in 2016. We are now 24 hours later. And thanks to two new polls, Joe Biden's lead is now 124% larger than Hillary's on this day in 2016. Now, what does this mean? I'll wait. What does this mean? You all know. We have to vote. This means nothing other than we have to vote. Plus 16 in October, when the polls are expected to tighten, it is stunning. But we have to vote. Nate Silver from 538, in fact, issuing a word of caution, tweeting this morning about the new poll that, quote, "It's good that pollsters are publishing these results instead of sitting on them. And this is one of those times when a large movement in the race is plausible. But we have a lot of polling at it most, and I think he means, and it mostly suggests more modest gains for Joe Biden. We have the opportunity to make a historic repudiation of Donald Trump a reality. It's only an opportunity right now. We're going to talk about states in which early voting has started and is starting yesterday, today, tomorrow, next Monday. We have the opportunity to actually make this the biggest landslide since Reagan in the 80s, or we have the possibility of being utterly devastated that we are going to have another 4 years of this. And we will know about that maybe November 3rd, very late, maybe November 4th or 5th. Let's actually make it happen. And you know what? One of the great reasons to make it happen is I want a stronger economy. And one of the things we know is that the economy does far better when there's a Democratic president. A new report says exactly that. And we're going to talk about that next. I want to take a second to tell you about one of our sponsors, S&H Masks. S&H Masks has everything you need when it comes to face masks and other protective gear for COVID-19, and they're giving my audience 20% off. S&H Masks is the company that I've personally been going to for face masks. I love and trust the products they sell, and that's actually why I reached out to them about being a sponsor. I've tried tons of different face masks this year, like many of you, and I still have not found a mask that is more comfortable or easier to breathe in than the washable cotton masks that they sell. It's made of a silky, lightweight cloth that feels great on the skin, has a convenient adjustable strap, and it features a disposable 5-layer particle filter made of activated carbon. They also have disposable cloth masks, which are really comfortable, as well as all of the other gear like face shields, alcohol wipes, no-touch infrared thermometers. And all of their prices are very reasonable. I also love S&H masks because they've donated over 60,000 masks to healthcare institutions. They're an excellent company. Shipping is just $5 and shipping is free on orders over $150. You can get there by going to davidpakman.com/mask. The link is under this video, and you can save 20% on everything in their store when you use the coupon code DAVID.